Hey y'all, it's Kelsey with K.currinfurnitureco and welcome to my channel. So usually I do like a thrift and flip video and show you what I've got in my thrift hauls. Well, this last week I didn't go, so I didn't get anything. I had my craft show last weekend and it didn't go that great. We didn't have a lot of foot traffic, so I didn't profit too much on it. So I have a lot of that stuff, what you see behind me, what's left, and some other stuff. But I've sold a lot that I just sold on Facebook, and I put it on Marketplace to get rid of some of it, because a lot of it was stuff I didn't really want to like resell, like on my website or at the shop or anything. But today I'm going to do a furniture flip for you. I'm trying to get more into that because that's more of my thing, is the furniture flipping. Hence the name K.Currin Furniture Company, which does not roll off the tongue that great after I tried to say it. Anyway, so we've been cleaning out my granddad's house, which is another story. My uncle moved a building that my granddaddy built at his house over to my uncle's house, which is right next door. And he had a bunch of, it was like his woodworking shop. So he did a lot of like yard selling and stuff and all these auctions. There's no telling where he picked this up. It was from a Vanity, and he either bought them like this or he did this, but more than likely the Vanity was probably in rough shape and somebody just took it apart and took the middle piece that laid and the mirror went back here. So there is some damage back in the back, but we're just going to fill that in with some kind of filler, or we might even try to see how the IOD dry clay goes and see how that works, because we can glue it in. I've done it before because it's not that big of a spot, and then we'll have to fill this in over here, take out these nails that held the piece together, and we're going to clean them up, and we're going to paint them in milk paint. I'm going to do the color flower site, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm hoping we get a really chippy finish on it, so I'm not going to use Bond or anything in it. So stay tuned at what they look like, and I'm going to get started on cleaning them up and showing you what I use. So after I got them cleaned up, I ended up using some spackle that I had bought at Walmart. I had ran out of my Durham's water putty, which is what I usually use for holes this big. So I ended up putting as much as I could in the holes for the first round. And then I sanded them down by hand, and I fill them in again because it didn't really get as flat as I wanted to. I wanted a smooth surface. The top turned out really good for it, but I didn't get on video the second round of it. See how chunky it is in there? I usually use the Durham's water putty like I stated. It does a lot better than the stuff that I used. So here I wanted to do a base coat of a different color, so I used Apothecary and Farmhouse Mixed. They're DIY paint colors. I did a base coat of those, and I just wanted that to be able to pop out, which at the end you'll see that it didn't really pop out. It actually all did a really, really cheapy finish, which is what I wanted. But I wanted that green to kind of pop out. So I thought to prevent it, I could use a water-based sealer that I had. And you'll see in the next little clip here. Okay, so this is where I'm getting my Miss Lillian's matte sealer. It's water-based, so I coat one good coat of this on both pieces in the drawers, just because I want some of that to seal. But I didn't realize when I put the milk paint on there that it was going to crackle like it did. But this stuff is a really great top coat. I like the gloss one too for certain pieces that I do. And you'll see that in future videos. So next I start with my first coat of milk paint. And to use milk paint, you mix however much you put of the paint you put in of warm water, and you stir it. You can use a little blender, or you can do, I use mine with a fork because I can get it in the little cups I use better. I did a better view of what I was doing here. So I decided I was going to put a little bit more of the powder in there, of the paint, to make it a little bit thicker, so I didn't have to do as many coats. And I know it kind of looks rough on the first coat, especially with white. The colored ones are not that bad. But I absolutely love using milk paint. I love that you don't always know what you're going to do. Like if it's going to chip or if the piece is going to stay solid. You just never know. Even sometimes if you add the bond, it'll chip, which I love the chippy finish. If I'm going to use it, that's what I'm going for. And you can actually use your heat gun in certain spots that you really want it to chip. You just apply the paint and then you use your heat gun and it'll start chipping. You just don't want to hold it there too long because sometimes it will, you don't want to burn and bubble up the paint. And the brand that I use was Sweet Pickins Milk Paint, and I know I probably stated that at the beginning of the video. Macy Gail had to help her mom. So here I'm starting on the second coat, and that was my final coat. Usually with the white, I have to do 3, especially if I want the whole piece like covered. But here I was not going for a full coverage. I just wanted it to look old and vintage. And I wanted it to crackle really well. And I did not use my heat gun. I just left these sitting outside for about a half a day in the heat just to see if that would help crackle it a little bit. And it didn't crackle on the 2 bottom drawers, but it ends up crackling on most of the top and then the front top 2 pieces. I still love how they turned out. You just never know how it's going to work.